Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is rejecting from this major area of resistance in the short term as the crypto funding rates are turning further negative, which I'll talk about in just a moment, alongside Ethereum now running into this major area of support, while the price of Solana is just about to retest this major area of support, while the price of XRP is now currently rejecting from this major area of resistance in the short term. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the 4-day Bitcoin price chart, taking a look at the super trend indicator, which is still currently sitting in the green, but it is getting somewhat close to flipping back into the red. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, we're still, of course, seeing that massive bearish crossover continue to play out in the weekly Bitcoin MACD. And the last couple of times this happened in the MACD indicator on this time frame, we either saw a pullback in the price over the next 1 to 2 months approximately, or actually more of a bearish trend play out over the next half a year. And of course, this has already been playing out exactly as expected over the last 1 month throughout basically all of February. And this could likely continue for a little longer, possibly over the next few weeks or months, but at least just in the shorter term over the next few weeks or so, this will likely continue to play out, at least based on what we saw in these previous occurrences right here. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin chart, we still have a massive bearish divergence with higher highs confirmed in the price and lower highs confirmed in the RSI. And of course, this is another signal telling us we should not really be expecting a lot of bullish momentum in the shorter term, as I've been saying basically every day over the last 2 months now. And we can clearly see that at least in the shorter term, over the last 1 to 2 months, we have not really seen any bullish momentum in the shorter term. Of course, we can see some short-term bullish price action, like bouncing from support, playing out oversold signals, things like that. We can see some bullish price action, but not necessarily a lot of momentum towards the upside, like what we saw in November last year or February last year, for example. And so we're simply at a period in the market right now that's much more similar to around mid last year, or perhaps around mid 2023. Basically, as we enter in towards the middle of this year, essentially it's very much repeating very similar price action to what we saw in around mid 2023 and mid 2024 will likely repeat over mid 2025. But with that being said, taking a look at the somewhat shorter term here on the daily time frame, of course, roughly a week ago, close to a week ago now, we bounced from this important Fibonacci level of support sitting at around 82,500. So continue to expect a lot of support at approximately 82 to 83k. But as of right now, we are currently rejecting in the short term from this previous Fibonacci level of support, becoming new resistance, and that's sitting at approximately 92,000. And so as I've been saying recently here on the channel, really in that lower 90k area, based on previous significant support, that is becoming new resistance. And essentially, while the price of Bitcoin is below the low 90k area, and especially below 90k, but really below around 92 to 94k, while the price is below that area, technically speaking, the larger price structure here is currently looking bearish. Because obviously, when we break below a significant line of support, a significant area of support, and we fail to get back above that area, that's clearly just price structure that is heading in the bearish direction. Obviously, bullish price structure would be higher lows and higher highs, for example, breaking out above key resistance, and that's simply not what we are seeing, at least as of right now. But there's a good chance that maybe just in the short term, over the next few days, or possibly over the next 1 week, give or take, we might end up just seeing a lot of sideways price action, basically short-term pullbacks and short-term bounces, just chopping around sideways within a bit of a sideways price range, because for now, we do have a lot of support at approximately 82 to 83,000, which is obviously supporting the price. But like I just said, we have a lot of resistance in the lower 90k area where the price is currently rejecting from. So ultimately, this is causing the price to somewhat remain range bound. And as for other areas of support and resistance, first of all, if we break below around 82,000 approximately, in that case, we have this significant area of support down here sitting in between 70,000 to 74,000 based on previous significant resistance becoming new support. And we also have a lot of traded volume at basically the lower 70k area and the high 60k area. So if we actually make it there, I'm not saying we're guaranteed to make it there, but if we actually make it down there, we'll likely find a lot of support. And as for other points of resistance, we also have this area of resistance, mainly based on this previous area of support in the shorter term on the daily Bitcoin chart, becoming new resistance, and that's sitting in between around 94,000 to 95,500. So really in that lower 90k area, once again, mainly in between around 91k to around 94, 95k, basically in that entire area. That's the major resistance to pay attention to, and I would only start to flip more bullish again in terms of the price structure here if we can finally see a confirmed breakout with at least a daily candle close back above around 95k approximately. And just before taking a look at some other Bitcoin charts today, first, if you want to actually trade any of these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I'm starting to take more of my trades over on 2bit, so I'll make sure to leave a link to 2bit below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here where you can claim some massive trading bonuses, like for example, a brand new Mercedes-Benz or 50,000 USD in bonuses simply just by trading crypto using that link. But if you're not one of these larger traders here, you can still claim some decent bonuses like a $30 sign up bonus just by making your account using that link, and also a 20% deposit rebate up to a max of 200 USDT. So for example, if you deposit $1,000, you get a $200 bonus onto your new account using that link. And on top of all of that, you're also automatically upgraded to VIP level 1 trading fees using the link below this video to 2bit, which basically means you get a massive discount on trading fees, lowered trading fees using that link. So if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link below this video. And also, in case you're wondering, 2bit is a no KYC exchange, which means you can access it from basically any country in the world without needing any KYC. But as always, check your local regulations when it comes to trading crypto. And for whatever reason, if you don't want 2bit as an exchange, there is also Bitfinex as another option out there, another exchange that I also trade on. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitfinex below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And that link, by the way, will take you to this page where you can claim some massive trading bonuses over here. And also, Bitfinex is a no KYC exchange as well. But with that being said, taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, as of right now, at least in the shorter term, we still have liquidity towards the upside, sitting at approximately 95,000 and approximately 97,000. And of course, over the last one day, we did wipe out some liquidity that was sitting at around 91,500, just underneath 92,000. So we took out that small amount of liquidity, but we still have a decent amount, like I just said, at around 95 to 97k. But of course, just before that major liquidity towards the upside, we have major resistance that we cannot ignore. And if we're actually zooming out on the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, looking at the last 3 months worth of price history here, we can actually see a larger amount of liquidity towards the downside, sitting at approximately 71 to 72,000. But of course, before even hitting that level, we also have support towards the downside where the price will likely bounce from, sitting at approximately 82,000 give or take, as I said earlier. But then if we break below that support, in that case, expect to move down towards the lower 70k area. And as for that potential short squeeze that I talked about over the last couple of days, at least for now, the Bitcoin and crypto funding rates, especially for a lot of the altcoins here, are still very much negative, which basically means a lot of traders are paying premiums right now, paying extra fees in order to short these crypto assets with a negative funding rates. And we kind of saw a very small short squeeze just over the last couple of days here. Of course, we did see a decent little bullish move, at least just in the short term, before we started to run into resistance and obviously struggle around resistance. And so once again, we potentially already saw part of that short squeeze already play out, but based on the funding rates still sitting below neutral, based on the Bitcoin funding rates and the altcoin funding rates basically all sitting in the negative for the most part, this tells us that there's still a lot of shorts left to be squeezed. And now, of course, this by itself does not guarantee a short squeeze is definitely going to happen, but what it does mean is that if the price of these crypto assets with negative funding rates simply just trade sideways, for example, it means the short positions are unprofitable, so ultimately they're unsustainable if the price just trades sideways, which means the shorts would have to close if the price is either sideways or bullish, which can cause a bit of a short squeeze, adding some buying pressure. But of course, if we do not see any break in the bearish price action, let's just say if a pullback starts right now and it just goes straight towards the downside without any little break or relief, then ultimately the short positions obviously remain profitable, full and have no reason to close. And so what we need to see is basically a sustained period of just some sideways price action, or maybe just a slight little relief, kind of like what we saw just the other day here. The moment the price basically stops going towards the downside, we see a bullish relief because a lot of short positions are closing at that point, adding into the buying pressure. And so that is the current situation based on the Bitcoin and crypto funding rates. But overall, of course, in the somewhat shorter term, while the price is bouncing around between support and resistance, we are simply lacking momentum to either direction, at least in the short term. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame, of course, the larger price structure is still looking very bearish on this weekly Ethereum chart, with a major breakdown below a multi-year line of support. So not much has really changed in that regard over the last one day. And if we're taking a look at this 3-day Ethereum chart, right now the price of ETH is running into the all-important golden pocket area of support, sitting in between around 2150 to 2.2k. And previously we've seen many bounces from this area. So if we actually confirm a 3-day candle close actually below this area, then in that case, obviously that would be very bad news for Ethereum, at least in the short term, likely resulting in a continued drop down towards around just under 1.9k, around 1880. And then below that level of support, then I'll be targeting around 1500, 1,500. And so for now, while the price is still holding above around 2150 and especially 2.1k, we still have a little bit of hope in the immediate short term. But of course, the larger price structure is still already looking bearish, as I've been saying here in the channel. And if we're zooming into the shorter term, looking at the 4-hour time frame, obviously over the last couple of days, we saw a nice bullish divergence in the short term pretty much perfectly play out over the last couple of days in the form of a short-term bullish relief. But right now, at the time of recording this video, we're getting extremely close to invalidating this bullish divergence, because the RSI, as we can see here, is getting extremely close to breaking below this ascending line of support. And if we start to see a breakdown in the RSI, and especially any lower lows forming in the RSI and the price action, those are all invalidation signals to invalidate the bullish divergence, basically telling us that the bullish divergence has now already played out. And so in case you're new to all of this, of course, this bullish divergence was never a bullish trend reversal signal for the larger trend here, because obviously it's only on the 4-hour time frame, resulting in just a slight bullish relief, a bit of a break from all of the bearish price action, but not necessarily the end of the bearish price action. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the weekly time frame, as of right now, just like Ethereum on the weekly time frame, Solana is still currently looking bearish when it comes to the price structure. We've just broken below a major line of support, which was sitting at just under 170, around 167 approximately. And especially if we confirm this weekly candle close in just around 3 days from now below around 170, in that case, that would actually confirm the break towards the downside, confirming a bearish price target based on this rising wedge pattern. And the bearish price target for that rising wedge is sitting at approximately $90 per Solana. But between now and then, we have very strong support in between around 120 to 130. And if we're taking a look at the daily Solana chart, as of right now, just in the short term, the price of Solana is actually lacking momentum to either direction. As I mentioned in my last video just yesterday, we don't really have a lot of bullish or bearish momentum. The price is looking somewhat neutral in the short term, bouncing around between support and resistance. So first of all, we have this area of support sitting in between around 133 to 139. And we also have more support at around 123 to 125. And as for resistance, we do have this area in between 156 to 161, and major resistance in between around 178 to 183. And so overall, like I just said, the larger price structure is not looking good. It's looking more bearish than it is bullish, but the immediate short-term situation is relatively neutral. So don't be surprised if we just see somewhat boring price action over the next couple of days or so. And if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the 3-day time frame, right now we still have this massive bearish divergence still in play on the 3-day time frame, with higher highs confirmed in the price and lower highs confirmed in the 3-day XRP RSI. And so this is telling telling us and has been telling us for some time that we should not really be expecting a lot of bullish momentum. Yes, we can see the occasional bullish move in the short term, a little bounce here and there, but not necessarily a lot of bullish momentum towards the upside. And if we're taking a look at the 8-hour XRP chart, as I've recorded in this video, the price of XRP is struggling and potentially rejecting from this area of resistance, sitting in between around $2.65 to $2.80. So like I've been saying for quite some time now on the channel, expect the price to struggle a lot within that area. And so far, we have started to struggle at pretty much exactly $2.65, the start of this resistance. But just for now, the price of XRP is basically within a bit of a sideways price range. As we can see, we're bouncing from support and struggling around resistance. And in case you're wondering, this area of support is sitting in between around $2.25 to $2.30. And if we were to see a breakback below $2.25 to $2.30, in that case, expect to move down closer towards around $2 because we have major support in between $1.95 to $2.05. And if we were to finally see a confirmed breakout back above around $2.80, in that case, expect a lot of resistance at $3, and above that, more resistance at around $3.20. But for now, the RSI is looking relatively neutral, not really giving us a lot of strength really to either direction. So with the price still just underneath this major area of resistance, we're basically just within a sideways price range, as I said earlier, and I'd only start to flip more bullish again in the short term in terms of the short-term momentum if we actually see a confirmed breakout back above around this area of resistance above $2.80 and especially above $3. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, over the last couple of days, obviously we saw a slight little bullish relief in the short term along with other cryptos within the market, but the price of Chainlink is now running into this major previous retracement level of support, currently acting as significant resistance, which is sitting at approximately $17.60 to $17.70. But I've been saying recently here on the channel quite a lot to expect a lot of resistance really in between around $17.50 to $18. That 50-cent price range right there is acting as strong resistance, and we have already seen one major rejection from that area based on previous support becoming new resistance. And so overall, of course, the larger price structure or the larger trend or the larger momentum, whatever you want to call it, is still currently bearish, as I've been saying for a long time on the channel, for the price of Chainlink on the daily time frame, as the price is currently forming lower highs and lower lows, breaking below support levels and currently rejecting from resistance levels, which is all bearish price structure. And now if we can finally see a confirmed breakout with at least a daily candle close confirming above around $18, in that case, we could potentially see a continued move up towards around $19.50 to $20, acting as the next strong area of resistance. But for now, while the price is still struggling around $17.50 to $18, in that case, the support to watch out for is sitting in between around $14.90 to $15.50. We also have some support at approximately $14.50 to $14.40 approximately based on this local low based on the daily candle closes. But really below around $14.90, below the golden pocket, the next major point of support, the next Fibonacci level of support is sitting at around $12.80 to really $13 as the next major area of support. And we have seen a recent bounce from very close to $13, confirming it as support. But overall, at least in the short term, the price of Chainlink is somewhat lacking momentum to either direction. Of course, the larger price structure remains bearish, at least for now, but we're not necessarily seeing a lot of bearish momentum or bullish momentum in the shorter term. And obviously, as I always say, the price of Chainlink, along with a lot of the major altcoins out there, will likely follow similar price action to what Bitcoin is doing, for example. So if Bitcoin is just trading sideways, or if it has a major bullish or major bearish move, expect something similar for a lot of the major altcoins, Chainlink included. And once again, if you want to trade any of these moves in the price of any crypto, check out the links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim those massive bonuses only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, you can profit from all of that price action by watching these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.